Why do I have to come out of the box and Schmeathan has to just roast me immediately? Schmeathan Schmolnick. Enough with the silver change. You're not drug dealers in the 90s.
Wow.
Why can't I like it, Schmeathan? Can't enjoy a gift for my wife?
You barely got the video on.
Jesus.
We're
We're already down bad. Schmeathan, we're down so bad watching this basketball team drag us into quicksand hell.
Not me.
And well, not you. I mean, you have a much better perspective on life than I do. You know,
well, it's not that. It's that sometimes as fans, you refuse to look at things for what they are.
Can I ask you something though?
Sure.
Non-fan. I want the professional athlete's perspective on this.
Okay.
People have tried to replace you before, right?
Yeah.
Bam. What was the guy's name?
Bam Morris.
Bam Morris. They tried to replace you with Bam Morris.
Yeah.
Last night, Terry Rozier, DNP coach's decision.
Right.
Worst offensive game of the season, and Alec Burks, maybe worse than any game that Terry Rozier has thrown out. Sneakily, not out in the open, sneakily, does Terry Rozier leave the locker room last night howling.
You know what I say? He probably left this going, oh, so you think that's the better option. Look,
he even did the Terry Rozier blown layups like 3 times.
Here's the deal, and here's what I would like to say to people. We tend to take bad stretches and make them bad players, right? And I know Terry's been struggling, but if you think you could put somebody else in there that's going to be better than Terry Rozier, then you probably shouldn't have traded for Terry Rozier.
Oh, yeah.
You
Give a first-round pickup for Terry Rozier?
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So like, sometimes as fans, we take bad stretches and make that player a bad player. And so you got to, separate the two. Like, everybody goes through bad stretches in their career. And it sucks because it always seems to be when your team doesn't need it. But that's the reality of it. And I think, personally, if you don't support him, then when you try to throw him back in there, it might have an even worse effect on him. So if you're gonna be like, if Tyler goes out and has a 1 for 15 night, we're not gonna say he sucks. You're gonna say he had a bad night.
Yeah, but Tyler has had a good season. I mean, Terry has stunk this
year. Again.
But I'm just
been bad for a long time.
But I think everybody has probably unfairly drawn now him as like the reason they suck.
Correct.
Even though I do think it's probably the worst trade in Heat history.
Correct. That's the weird.
I'm just saying, when you're down bad and then you're like, all right, we're gonna not play Terry Rozier, and Terry Rozier watches his replacement go and have a worse game than he's had all season.
How about this? Let's put it this way. If the Heat were still winning games,
yeah,
we would be saying, just imagine how good they'll be when Terry gets back.
Yeah.
When Terry turns around.
Sure.
But because you're losing.
Do you think Alec Burks has ever missed that many open corner threes in his life? Like, in his life, how many times do you think Alec Burks missed 8 open corner threes?
When we go in that room and we see 95 out of 100, 88 out of 100, we see them shooting 100 threes and we see their numbers there. And you're like, I didn't even know that guy could shoot like that, right? And then you put him in a corner by himself during the game and he doesn't hit the rim.
Everybody other than Andrew Wiggins yesterday, I think they started 0 for 22 from downtown yesterday.
Yes, because he was like 2 for 5 or something like that.
That is crazy.
It's crazy. But what do you see? And here's the other thing is that when you can't afford to have a night like that, but teams have a night like that, right? Like, what do you make of it? Like,
I don't know.
You see, like,
it's one of those things where it's like, that was such an oddity of awful. Like,
right.
Even a bad team's not going to be that bad, but it doesn't help that it also.
digits. Wow. That's almost a zero. At least there's 1 0 in the number. At least there's 1 0 in the number.
Yeah. We'll let her log in.
Thank you. You know what?
He's a jackass.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
I got no respect for him.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Look at it. When you going back to the improv?
Wow.
You show up.
When's your next half
First
day?
of all,
1 p.m.
you showed up for a meeting
Yeah.
and left for work.
Yeah, why did you show up to the meeting?
Right.
I'm an important guy, dude. They need me in these meetings. They got to run it by me.
Can I just say?
Yeah.
No.
They got to run it by me.
Definitely not a meeting.
Yeah,
Like, that's email worthy, not a meeting worthy.
Right.
You know, I'm just like, all right.
And
And
also,
also-
that's something you could just walk by Tyler and say, "Hey."
But even if it's not a meeting, I'm like, we got a very fun event coming up, but they got to give us the rundown of the event. But it almost reminds me of like, he feels like he's got to stretch out to the half hour.
yes,
If you give me an 8-minute meeting, you're my
Yeah.
friend forever.
For sure.
In, out, boom.
right.
Anyway, headlines brought to you by Doral Volkswagen. Doral Volkswagen, choose from over 300 new Volkswagen models in stock, like the Tiguan, the Taos, and the Atlas. And remember, when it comes to Volkswagen, the great deals are at Doral Volkswagen. We do a little heat scouting tonight. Capture the flag at the heat facility.
Season in the pooper for Cooper.
Wow.
First of all, let's say
A little scouting tonight.
you have absolutely zero chance.
Don't say
get
that.
Cooper flag.
I don't know, dude. I don't know.
Because here's what's going to happen.
Hmm?
You're going to end up in the play-in, and that's
Yeah, but they got to win 2 in the play-in right now. See, just because you're in the play-in doesn't mean you don't get in the lottery. If you get in the play-in and you lose in the play-in, you're in the ping pong balls, baby. And they got to win 2 now in the play-in. That's the way things are going. You think this team's winning 2 in a row?
2 in a row. I'm trying to get 1. in
Just
a row.
trying to get 1.
Right.
Exactly, dude. 6 out of 7. Anyway, very noticeable yesterday that Cooper Flagg was in the Heat's house. Very noticeable. You think like maybe it's time for the Arisons to call in a favor to Adam Silver?
Ooh.
Where's our frozen envelope, dude?
Can I just say?
Where is our frozen envelope?
Yeah.
We've never had the number 1 pick.
Can I just say this?
Never had it.
With the way the commissioner has handled trades,
Yeah.
of players the Heat that really wanted to come to the Heat,
Hmm?
you think he's going to pull that one off?
I feel like he owes us. I feel like the Arisons
owes you nothing.
No, the Arisons
Why
are
do I
owed
think they-
one, dude.
Why does everybody think they owed
The
something?
Arisons are owed the number 1 pick. We're owed ping pong balls. We're owed a little controversy. The Pelicans have gotten how many number 1 picks? They lose Anthony Davis, 5% chance to get the number 1 pick. Boom, number 1 pick. The Cavs got Kyrie Irving with a 1.6% chance just because everybody felt bad about them losing LeBron. Where's our feel good? We're owed it. Give us Cooper Flagg.
Yeah.
Come on.
All right,
Know what they say?
there you go.
Ain't a thing wrong with the ping pong, Leroy. You know, we got to do what we got to do.
-1. Quickly. Quickly.
For show pony.
You know, if you wasn't running the board,
Figgy?
I'd go have your ass stand in the corner.
No.
I'd have him go
-1.
go sit in the corner.
I'll remember this.
Very noticeable that yesterday Duke basketball tweets out a picture of the Arisons and Shane Battier. Very noticeable.
Coincidental, huh?
What do they do? Do they have the envelope anymore, or do we have to dent a ping pong ball? How do we make this happen?
No, you put some air in it.
Ooh, make it bigger than all the other ones.
Whatever it takes.
But again, my favorite is the top 3 picks automatically get the top 3 picks.
Mm.
Is that how does it work? I think
You can fall out.
you can fall if you're
I think it's 4. I don't think you can get lower than.
lower
you're the
than
wor-
4. Okay, 3. The top 3 have to be in the top 4, and then there's 1 pick that could. So, yeah, all right. So
Anyway.
I just figured them picking up number 8, and they pick up one of those 3.
Oh, Miami has jumped up. We're owed 08, dude. We are owed to the Derrick Rose. What did the Bulls have? The Bulls had like less than a 2% chance to get Derrick Rose, number 1 overall pick. Dude, we made Ron Rothstein go be the head coach. Riley's like, I can't take it. Ron Rothstein had to go hold the bag for the rest of that season just so Riley could go scout college guys. We are owed the number 1 pick. We've never had the number 1 pick. We're only one of 5 franchises to never have the number 1 pick. We're owed it. Give me my frozen envelope,
That
Adam
means
Silver.
if you've never had the number 1 pick, it usually means you've been too good.
Yeah, but one time we were owed it, and then we didn't get it, baby. We ended up with Michael Beasley, who you know I love, but we should have gotten the number 1 pick.
Michael Beasley got drafted 10 years too early.
Yeah, he did.
What a waste of a pick. That's why we haven't gotten one since.
I mean, here's what I don't understand. This happens more in basketball than anything. The top 5 picks are normally pretty scripted in that you have the top 5 rated players, and it just whoever has that pick just goes down that line, right? It's not like football where somebody would trade a pick, move down, maybe take an offensive lineman instead of a quarterback. It doesn't work like that in basketball. You have the top 5 or 10 guys that are drafted in the top 10 picks. And the top 3 are usually consistent. So if you have the number 2 pick, right, and you're in the draft with Michael Beasley, regardless of what happens, you're probably going to end up with Michael Beasley. You're not going to.
Yeah, but it was one of those things where he ended up in a very stacked draft being the worst player. Like, we're talking him, Russell Westbrook, Kevin Love, Derrick Rose. Like, in a stacked draft, he was like the lone guy who was like,
and maybe it was because of how he was viewed. And because if he was in the draft now, oh my goodness,
of course. I mean, he was viewed that way back then.
Right.
His season at Kansas State is no, he was. I mean, it was really until Derrick Rose had his run in March Madness, like Mario Chalmers kicking his ass, by the way. It was really up until that point where everybody was like, "Oh, Michael Beasley's the consensus number 1
correct."
Pick. And then D Rose had a crazy run for Memphis until Mario Chalmers kicked his ass. Legend. Rock chalk.
I know.
That's what they do.
I know. I'm one of my friends that I golf with is went to Kansas.
I just didn't know if you knew that because I don't think the football team does that. They're kind of, they're not a thing.
What? Remember they played in the Orange Bowl down here?
That was a long time ago, dude.
Hey, that's all I got. That's all I got. Like,
well, it's interesting you put it like that. That's all I got. Because Eric Spoelstra last night, he had one for the ages.
He just folded up.
He
just took his ball and went home.
He had one for the ages last night as to what the Heat have to do from here, and I'm still confused. Back up, get to a little 15 minutes of Heat here for you on 560, which is brought to you by Hollywood Kia. At Hollywood Kia, the number 1 Kia dealer in all of Florida. Get the star treatment. We want to see you in a Hollywood Kia. Visit them online, hollywoodkia.com. Before that, though, we were discussing Ham Porter is on MLB Network right now, and man, he's aged great. He has aged gracefully.
The fact that you're still on this topic.
He didn't even have he doesn't have his man body. He still looks like the kid from Sandlot.
He is.
Wait, but
we
can
look.
You guess how old he is?
Yeah, how old do you think he is? How old do you think he is?
How do you think?
We did the math.
Hold on.
Well,
42.
46 years old.
46.
Pretty good, right?
You were pretty close.
Pretty good. Pretty good.
Wow, his kid kind of looks like him.
Yeah.
Which is good. You probably want to.
And we were like, because here's the thing. He, not a handsome man, objectively. I could say this is one of the uglies.
Ooh.
And
wow.
Not a handsome man.
You could have stopped there. You really could have stopped there. You could have stopped there.
Look, this is kind of like you saying you wish somebody no success.
Why?
Because like you're saying he's aged gracefully, and then
right,
you're saying
but because he's not a handsome man. Because he's not a handsome man. But as not a handsome man, if you age gracefully, if you look the same, you just age well. He looks the same as he does in Sandlot. But
which is that a good thing?
Yeah.
We established
because
this
when you're a little kid,
it's a good thing.
When you're a little kid, that's cute. When you're a grown ass man,
it wasn't cute. Everybody knew he was the portly kid with some pop. There's no power like little league fat kid power.
Is he the original chunky?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, they didn't have
yeah.
jerseys. I mean, but
Yeah.
yes,
Killing me,
basically.
Smalls.
Basically.
I gotta tell you,
And
all
Porter.
of my favorite movies,
Hmm?
James Earl Jones is in it in some kind of way,
Mm,
right?
baseball.
baseball.
That was Field of Dreams. Well, this was the one where the dog, right? He owned the dog. He owned the
dog
junkyard.
next door,
Yeah,
right?
This is
Sandlot,
you're killing
That's
me, Smalls.
by the way, that's Dre.
Love that.
Dre is that dog.
Is he?
Yeah,
Oh
is.
my goodness, he's
Wow.
a menace in the streets.
But we were looking it up. So the heartthrob in that show was Benny the Jet Rodriguez, right?
Yep.
I mean, he's aged terribly.
Downgraded.
He looks terrible. Like, it's not that he's an ugly man, but he was a heartthrob as a child, right?
Sure,
Yeah,
for sure.
that,
And
that
then-
was back when I was a kid,
and
I was
now-
like,
yeah,
wow.
Yeah. And now
Yeah,
he's
he's
all right. You know, he
yeah.
looks like your run of the mill guy.
Nah,
Yeah.
not good.
I would if I was walking in the street, I wouldn't even like
You wouldn't even,
look
yeah.
twice.
He
to be
wouldn't. He would get.
honest.
Is anybody
Cropped
in that?
out.
Anybody in that
Cropped
of all
out.
those kids? Anybody else did anything else?
go that far
I
in
don't
the
know. I
sense.
didn't do that much of a deep dive into it. I'm not sure.
Because you're fat shaming.
How am I fat shaming?
No, he wasn't.
If
fat
anything,
shaming.
I'm showing fat pride.
Okay, I don't like that.
It doesn't matter if you like it or not. It's the
The
truth.
ways
It's,
you
I
just
deny
sound so
saying that I'm
wrong.
fat shaming. You're fat shaming,
No, I'm not.
dude.
Wow.
You listen.
Somebody asked me if he was the original Chunky 52. I was like, yeah.
I mentioned a name yesterday, and you couldn't
Oh,
wait. You couldn't wait.
woo! Hey, hold on. Let me put this out there for everybody. If you see Niang walking down the street and he says, I play for the Cavs, you would say, stop lying.
Plays for the Hawks now.
I mean, the Hawks. Sorry. You would say, stop lying. Am I
Yeah.
right?
I how tall is he?
6'7".
He's 6'7".
6'7"?
That's what it says.
Wow.
You know what it is?
Yeah.
Here's the thing. He's 6'7". He has a wingspan of 6'3", and his upper body is the same length as his lower body.
He also doesn't stop hitting people in the face. Like, he's really annoying because he's like,
And he always is moving around the court like he's not sure where he should be.
he did a thing yesterday. Like, he hit Andrew Wiggins right in the face, and Spo was losing his mind. Now, of course, he couldn't challenge. I don't even know if he could challenge, but even if he could challenge, he wouldn't challenge. But Spo was losing his mind because George Niang hit Andrew Wiggins right in the face. And then I think he picked up like 4 fouls in 3 minutes because then they had to make good on Niang hitting people in the face.
Pretty
But-
much.
Crotty did something very delicate yesterday on the broadcast, which I think you should heed style of fat shaming from John Crotty, because he used a term with Niang that I was like, oh, that's delicately putting he's portly. And that is the term heavy set.
Ah.
But wait. There's certain, like if I okay, let's put it in other things. Let's say this high jumper, he's really good. A little heavy set. No, it doesn't go together. Right? So
I knew exactly what Crotty was talking about.
right,
I
of
knew
course.
exactly what Crotty was talking
Of
about.
course. Heavy set. Like you can't say it in football. They're all heavy set.
No, I mean, like, if
on, dude.
you would have called Brock Bowers heavy set.
He's a big boy though.
He's a big boy, but it's not heavy set. That's not heavy set. I think heavy set, I think like low center of gravity, you know?
So Chunky 52.
Yes. But it's a delicate, it's not chunky, it's heavy set. It's just a nicer way of putting it. It's a nicer way of putting it.
You kill him,
Really? In other words, he's basically saying George Niang is not a weak thing.
So do you want to hear Eric Spoelstra just like grasping it?
No, you know, I do want to hear it,
Yeah.
but
It's his
think
finest work, I think.
at this point, he is so just over it. Like he doesn't know what to do.
It's his finest work.
I
I think
would
it's his
say-
finest work.
I would say Spo does some of his best work when only 8 players are available and you stop trying to figure out who can play with who. It's too late for that.
I don't know.
Right?
I don't know. He's rats off a ship on Jaime. Terry Rozier
Terry,
kicked the
you
ro-
can't be that. Listen, Spo, all respect. You ain't got that many players on the team to be done with.
I was very furious with one thing with him yesterday, right?
What?
So in the fourth quarter, Capella's kicking our ass, like as Capella is to do, because Capella is just like, oh,
He's
the
an
Heat
offensive
we're
rebounder.
playing the Heat. I'm gonna have 18 rebounds, but like Capella and Okongwu were just going ham at the paint all of a sudden. I'm like, hey, Spo, by my count, and call me crazy here, did Kelowna Ware not have a season high in rebounds in 3 quarters yesterday?
Right.
And so I'm sitting here and I'm like, where is Kelowna Ware?
Mm-hmm.
So I tweeted this out, lashing out a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And then somebody says, you didn't see him get cut? And I was like, no, I didn't see him get cut. I didn't see Kelowna Ware get cut. I'm looking everywhere. Did Kelowna Ware get cut? Now, I still haven't seen anything with him getting cut. All I'm going by is Moonwalker on Twitter. But he swears he saw it, and one other guy said he saw it, but nobody else saw it. There's no video of it. I didn't see any of the reporters talking about it. The only thing that I saw yesterday was Anthony Chang coming out afterwards, and he said, no new injury on Kelowna Ware. And then I went back and I saw Ira tweeted out that Kelowna Ware got the business from Eric Spoelstra and then got told to sit on the bench. So I don't think he was cut. I didn't see him get cut, but then I was like, well, maybe I was just in a malaise of the game and I didn't see him get cut. But one thing I do know is we could have used his ass in the fourth quarter, and I felt like he was getting. If he was cut, I apologize on this take. But if he wasn't cut, and I'm talking stitches cut. If he wasn't cut, that was
not
stubborn.
just a butterfly.
That was stubborn.
Okay, here's what I would like to say. Why is Spo acting like he got the 95?
I don't know.
The 95 Bulls, right? Why he acting like it? If you don't do what I say, you sit on the end of the bench. I'll use somebody else. He's your only 7-footer.
And he was gobbling up rebounds. He was playing well.
And
in a game where nobody was playing well, he was playing well.
Can Spo have just a little more patience with a 20-year-old?
A little bit.
Like he gets so frustrated. Like, yeah.
So
he's learning on the fly. Like you can be firm with him, but you can't bench him.
I know.
Seems
and
like a guy who's burnt out.
I don't know, dude. I don't know.
And there you go.
Just
there,
saying.
look, he's gone.
I'm just saying.
This was okay. So this was Ira. Ira tweeted out, Spoelstra with a harsh admonishment of Kelowna Ware during this timeout, several times pointing towards his head. And I was like, so like never to be seen again?
Okay.
Banished?
Here, news flash. You're gonna have to point at your head a lot with a 20-year-old. That's the nature of it in any sport.
I don't
understand
it.
Wait, do you understand there's teams that play with 20-year-old JaVale McGee who once shot a ball from half court with 20 seconds
He coached
left.
Hassan Whiteside.
Right. Like,
he said he was out there to get his 2K rating up. And Kelowna Ware in a game where like Clint Capella's like, wee! He's like, I got the solution. Kyle Anderson.
Slow-mo.
Hey, he was getting to the line like Jimmy yesterday.
Yeah, but like, come on.
So
this goes back to how he feels about young players, young bigs. From the get, shouldn't he know by now?
I don't know.
That young bigs require more work.
But dude, I was sitting here, so like I'm sitting here, I'm like, okay, so if he got cut, okay, I'll wipe this from the record. But I don't think he got cut, or not cut to the point where he couldn't play anymore, because I got Ira saying that he got yelled at, Anthony saying there were no new injuries, and then I have Spo after the game with just the biggest doozy of an answer I have heard. Here's the head coach.
Our group is very resilient. And look, what you need right now, you need an incredible amount of stubbornness. You got to be stubborn. You absolutely got to be stubborn and persistent in what we're trying to do. We're not getting the result we want, but there's things that are trending in a better direction. You got to quiet all the noise. You got to just not listen to anything, not read anything, but that's just the deal right now. We're closer than what it feels like. We're putting this thing together like quickly, and sometimes it doesn't happen just like that. But are you building the right habits and building the right trends, through the adversity? The head coach feels that we are, and so you got to be stubborn. You got to put your head down and collectively be stubborn-minded about this until we start, generating some wins.
If I may. Stubborn is why we watched two wing players get 75 offensive rebounds, because your answer to stubbornness was a guy whose nickname is Slow-Mo. Now, I don't know what anybody thinks about the whole situation, but I do know the way, what's his name? Okongwu.
Yeah.
And Clint Capella.
Yep.
Were getting rebounds. I think we need Fast Mo. And
yesterday wasn't the day for lessons. I'm sorry.
Right.
It's not the day for lessons. It's not the day for lessons. I'm sorry.
Right. And listen, I understand Spo's frustration with probably Khalil and some of the simplest of
He's lashing
things.
out, though. He's lashing out.
But like, I will tell you, this is my own personal belief. Okay. I'm gonna tell you where it was screwed up. Okay. If you would have learned this lesson in October and November, we would be past this point right now. But you had your 7-footer playing with the Sky Force. So his production is delayed playing with the NBA players because you were getting him work with the Sky Force.
Unless he tried to alley-oop it in the Hawks basket, you need to have a man who had 15 rebounds in 3 quarters out there.
That's what he had, 15 rebounds?
Yes! He was a monster!
Wait.
Hit that over pretty quickly.
Here's the worst part about that. How can you look onto the court and see them rebounding and offensive rebounding in the paint, and the guy who had 15 rebounds, you put in timeout?
I don't know.
That's
why I need to go. Like, I almost hope that Moonwalker is right, but I need to see. I need to see like UFC afterwards. I need to see like a film of the cut. I need to see it. I need to see Khalil Ware getting stitched up, because otherwise it makes 0 sense.
Right.
0.0 sense. But let's be stubborn, because we certainly haven't had enough of that as the Heat organization lately.
What's more important, the lesson or the wins?
Wow, that's deep.
I'm just saying.
Wow.
Like, there's
Pretty deep.
Give him a
listen.
point. That's good.
That's nice.
Wow.
Think about this.
Point for Leroy.
And case in point, you let Jimmy do whatever the hell he wanted, because wins were more important than being stubborn.
Mm-hmm.
At some point, there needs to be a middle ground where Khalil's young, you got to go to him, have a conversation with him, and let him know what's up. Because from an outsider looking in, I would say probably the hardest situation for Khalil to be caught in is when a point guard or a guy on top of the key gets beat and he has to make a decision whether to leave and go defend the rim or stay on his guy and not give up a dunk. That's a tough spot to be in. Now make that guy 20. Right?
Mm-hmm.
So and what happens is, when you get in those moments in sports of uncertainty, it looks like you're just standing there. But it's because you're so unsure of what to do, because any decision you make is going to be wrong. But I got to tell you.
Dade South says that Spo has too much perspective.
Not really. He has none. I really don't think when it comes to these young bigs, right?
Mhm.
How much of this has to be on the fly? Like, Khalil's not going to learn how to defend that unless he fails 1,000 times at it and gets yelled at 1,000 times, not benched. Because as a basketball player or a basketball coach, you have to understand the position or how difficult that is. Now, I don't know why Khalil was benched,
I don't either.
but I do know this.
Poetry Love says they show the cut on the stream I was watching. One of them pirate streams, Poetry.
Maybe that was just some,
Well, they do this sometimes if you watch a wink link.
a winky link.
If you watch on a wink link, sometimes it's just the in-arena feed and there's no commercials. And so they may cut. I didn't see it. I'm not ruling out what Poetry's saying. I'm not ruling out what Moonwalker's saying. And for the life of me, this is a weird thing to say, but I almost hope that he was cut because it's the only thing that would give me a little bit of peace.
Right.
A little bit of peace.
Right.
Because if he was teaching a lesson,
Then what?
then what?
Spo. It's past his prime, dude.
What do you
Past
mean,
his
dude?
prime,
He's
dude.
not
past his
here.
prime.
He's no longer patient.
Here's the
He's
deal.
run down.
Here's the deal.
It's time to go,
Here-
Spo.
Here's the deal. Spo isn't all the ridiculous things you say about him.
Okay.
But I think he does believe that what he's doing is going to get a better result. And at some point, you have to realize that the most important thing is having that big in the game. And so you have to adjust how you go about it so that the point is made while still getting the production and trying to win games. Like, you to say or to yell at somebody and sit them on the end of the bench and that's your tallest guy on your team that has 15 rebounds after 3 quarters. Like, what are you doing? Cutting off your nose to spite your face?
I don't know. Maybe there was just a mystery cutting his hand to sit him on the bench.
I don't know.
Maybe Spo cut him.
Look at that.
Sit down.
I don't know. I think
Give me your hand.
so. I get what you're saying. Like, you almost hope it was an injury because you don't want to have to deal with the fact that Spo just sat a guy and then just let the other team get 27 offensive rebounds.
Yeah.
To prove a point. That seems kind of.
Tate South says, is Spo a Peaky Blinder? All right, we'll take a break. When we come back, we'll feel good. One of our own local stars got a little national shine last night on the talk show scene. That's next.